Welcome to Got Invention Show. I'm your host, Brian Freed, and this show is all about hearing the inventor stories, listening to where they've been, where they're going, and all the success and trials and tribulations that they've had. And Shawn Taylor is with us tonight, and she's going to talk to us about how she's an inventor and entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Shawn. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great.
It's
So,
great to be here with you.
nice to see you on the show. Shawn, tell us who you are and where you're from, and tell us about who you are as an entrepreneur.
Well, my name is Shawn Taylor, and I am from New Orleans. I've lived here all my life, and my professional experience is in banking in the financial industry, and also I was a public tag agency. I retired back in spring of 2018
Okay.
at a
Very
young, tender age.
So tell us about your business that you were running in Louisiana.
Well, I had an insurance company, Regency Unlimited, and also a public tag company, Regency One Titles here in New Orleans, that I owned and operated for many years. And I decided to retire for personal reasons.
Okay. And you retired, and I guess you kind of got bored, or did you just come up with that aha moment? What was it that made you turn into an inventor?
Well, actually, I had a shift in my life. My daughter was in a severe car accident, and it was just too overwhelming and demanding to run two businesses and come home and tend to everything that needed to be done here at the house. So I made a decision to retire because after working in the industry for so many years, it afforded me to be able to retire early. So I did just that. I retired.
And hopefully your daughter's okay.
Yeah, she's doing great, Brian. She's doing
Good.
great.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, a lot of favor. She has a lot of favor.
Good. Well, that's good to hear. So here you are, you're retired, you're enjoying your life, hopefully, and you became an inventor. So tell us what happened and how you just said, you know what, I came up with something really interesting and I want to take it to the next level. So where were you and how did you come up with your first invention?
Well, actually, back in, I think it was 2011 or 12, we started celebrating my daughter's birthday every year. And each year it grew. So we had to bring it to the backyard because it was just too many people for the house. And I'd been out there for several years celebrating her birthday, but something happened in 2018 when I was out there in the backyard. I was at the table actually relitting food and changing oil and washing the utensils. And under the gazebo came this laugh. And I looked over my shoulder and my family members, my kids was under there, some friends. And I realized in that moment that I had missed the fun, and it was sort of like a thing for me. I was missing everything that was happening around me because I was constantly at the table trying to prevent contamination.
What kind
And
of contamination are
came
you
to
talking?
me. Uh,
What kind of contamination? You talking on the utensils or
yes.
serving?
Yes, and being here from New Orleans, we always, if we're outdoors, chances are we have seafood, which is an insect favorite, especially the flies. So it's like it was very important that I kept the flies off of the food for my loved ones. I mean, my loved ones out there, my family, my friends, and everybody that I care about. And I just did not want them eating the contamination from flies. So I find myself at the table constantly washing utensils and changing foil, relitting, and doing all of this every year. And that year, something just happened when I heard that laugh. It was something about this particular laugh. It was coming from the pit of their stomach. And it really like had bothered me that I had missed the joke or whatever was going on up under there. I should have been there with them. And I wasn't. And less than 2 weeks later, I was sitting in front of doing a patentability search.
Okay. All right. So here you are. You missed the boat on all the fun and entertainment that was going on. and you're cleaning utensils. You just have this thing. Are you kind of like a germaphobe, or is it something that you're just that type of person? What's making you just constantly clean the utensils?
Because that's what we always, that's what America had to do. That's what we have to do, because there's nothing out there that makes closing food effortlessly, so no one does it. I've went to a pool party in California, and just adults was there. And I walk up to the counter to get some chicken, and I'm shooting off a fly. And for years that we've been dealing with the flies, because there was just nothing out there for us to not deal with them. It wasn't anything to make recovering food effortlessly, and we just don't do it, especially when we in the festivities. We just won't take the time to recover food.
So
I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty too.
So tell us about this invention and show us. Give us a demonstration of what you've come up with.
Okay. This is the utensil holder. Normally, I would put the utensils on a paper plate or in a bowl with some water, but it still left it exposed. So what I came up with is the SureCover Utensil Holder. You pop it up like this, and when you take the utensil out, say you have some chili out there for the kids, or some cheese out there, or any dish, once the utensil come in contact with food, the utensil holder has an automatic closing lid here. You just take it and voila, it's covered.
Can you show us that one more time?
Okay. The top base sits up, and when you take the utensil, there's an automatic closing tab there. When you sit the utensil in the bottom base, it automatically closes and covers the utensil.
Very nice. Can you move that closer to the camera? Can you lift it up and show us what it looks like? So it's basically for any utensil serving type of, like a spoon, a fork. Is it just for basic utensils, or is it for serving utensils?
Several utensils will fit in here. I put a spatula in here because I am using it in my kitchen. I used it for a thong. I've put a thong in here. So depending on the size and the dimension of the utensil, it would definitely accommodate it.
Very nice. So very interesting, and congratulations. So
thank you.
Now, is that a prototype? Is that a finished product?
This is a pre-production. As a matter of fact, I am going into market.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Yes, I am in market.
Excellent. All right. So let's go back now to you missing that laugh. So there you were. You missed the laugh. You were cleaning the utensils. Now all of a sudden, everybody left. The night's over. What happened next? Like, what did you do to capture that idea?
I knew that the utensils needed a cover. That was the problem. No one was recovering. So I was like, how can I make this easy for everyone else? Because I wasn't recovering the food after myself. I was recovering after everyone else that just refused to recover food. So my thought was, how can I make it effortless for them to recover the food? Because they just wouldn't take the time to do it. So I came up with the utensil rest, and also a retractable lid for aluminum pans.
So that cover that you invented, and that's in pre-production right now from the factory, you're saying that that was the vision and what you had in your mind at that moment?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So it must be amazing to have that, just that product come out of your brain right into production, and you're seeing it and you have a chance to use it now. So I know that
it feels good.
Well, there's always a journey, and nothing, well, sometimes things come easy, and it seems like you're
Mhm.
on a great path, and you're going to start selling your product soon. So
Mhm.
you had the idea, you came up with it, you envisioned it. So what'd you do next, Shawn?
I I went to a company and did a patentability search. And
Okay.
about a month later, the results came back.
Okay.
And I was given an option to do a provision or a utility. And this was so, so important to me. And being that the patentability search did not find anything out there like that, I'm like, let's just go for it. And I just went straight into the utility patent because I knew that I wanted something that covered our utensils and
Well,
our food effortlessly.
how did you know to get a provisional patent application or even to do a patent search? So when you came up with the idea, did you go online? Did you search? Was it just I went to the store and I didn't see it and I want to start doing it? Like, what was it that you did first, second, third, fourth? But how did you figure out what to do at that moment?
Google. I had to Google everything. I was so new at this. When I started, I didn't know absolutely anything about having an idea and having it patent and bringing it to a reality. So I thought I had to feel my way in the beginning. So I Googled a lot of the steps that I needed to take. And I noticed that when I got to a certain level of my process, that Google was not working for me.
Okay. So you did this patentability search, and what did that do for you?
It came back. I had an actual attorney that did the patentability search. When it came back with the suggestion, is it called something they call it, Brian? I know you know, but when it came back that I could do a patent, I went straight into my patent.
Okay.
And once I applied for my patent, while I was waiting on my patent, I did not know, because when I got this idea, I could see it in my head just as plain and just as clear. But then it was like I had to get someone else to see what I was seeing in my head. And I'm not an engineer at all. I have absolutely no engineering skills. So what I did, I went to Walmart and I walked around the store until I seen something that I could use to sort of project that vision that I was having in my head.
Okay. Well, that's good. That saves you on just getting that prototype, at least just making a crude prototype out of what exists already. So that's good. So you
Yes.
started with that. So you did the patentability search and you were talking about a patentability opinion. And then you ended up going right to filing a utility patent application or the provisional patent application.
I went straight into the utility.
Okay. So
Yes.
utility patent application, and that has the claims, and that's for a 20-year term. So
Yes.
you ended up working with the provisional, I'm sorry, with the utility patent application. You filed that, and then what'd you do next?
The I I did a prototype. I got an engineer and I went into my prototyping. And after that, I received what you call my CAD file. I was able to get my CAD, my step file. And after receiving my step file, I went into manufacturing.
Okay.
And now that I am out of manufacturing, I went into mass production and I'm going into the market now.
Okay. Let's take two steps back. So you found an engineer. What did you do to find an engineer, and what was your experience like?
I I Google. I was still Googling at this
Mhm.
time. And I did my homework. I got 3 estimates And I chose the one that I thought would be best to work with. That would be and I went with this company. And later on, I I discovered that I did not make the best decision. I sort of lost out on that a little bit. It cost me. It was an era that cost me.
Well, what was the lesson learned that you could share with inventors when searching for an engineer? And look, every product and every person out there is different, but just knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
I stopped Googling. What I did, it took me a while to get there, but I got to a point in my process where I was able to, I was fortunate enough to bring on a coach. And what that did for me, it brought in knowledge, skill, and know-how. So I wasn't kind of feeling my way anymore. That when I got to a point to where I was unsure about something, I could always call my coach and get that guidance in that direction that I needed to go into the right direction. And it's like having 20 something years of experience without having 20 something years of experience. But
Okay.
prior to, in the beginning, I've made some errors that was kind of costly for me. And it was a lesson well learned.
Well, just going through and working with an engineer, I think expectations are really important because,
Hmm.
look, you have something in your mind, and when you're presenting it, it's got to work a certain way. And the way that you want it to work and the way that it could work or should work might be different because they see
Hmm.
it as the way that it should function, and you see it how it looks and how you would want it to work. So, how many iterations do you think you went through in the engineering? Did they hit it right on the spot? Did it take you a few times to get it to a point where it worked the way that you wanted?
Actually, when I sent my homemade prototype, and I was very thorough in giving them absolutely everything they needed to see what I was seeing in my head. When I got my first prototype, it wasn't anything like that. And it wasn't anything that I could use to show someone else as a demonstration of my product.
Mhm.
So we went back into, I was awarded, like, I think my contract awarded me 3 prototypes and 3 attempts at my prototypes. And the second time, I think I'm on my second now. I think I'm on my second. And the reason why the ball kind of got rolling with that, because I think it was 2.5 years I started with that company, and my contract stated that they would have my product in like 9 months. And it's been about 2.5 years. But for the last several, maybe 2 months, they've been moving a little bit faster. And that's because I've been bringing in 20 something years of experience. But it's, I still have not gotten my prototype. What I'm actually getting from them is my correct step file.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you've gone through, you've worked with the engineer. It was a little bit of up and down. I guess it took you quite some time. I don't know, maybe the iterations or just the time till they ended up getting around to the project. But the good thing is that you overcame the engineering part. You received your CAD file, CAD file, as you
Yes.
referenced it. The step files and all different types of files that you receive for manufacturing purposes. And what did you do next? Like, there's inventors out there that decide to license their idea to earn royalties, and then there's others that want to be an entrepreneur, start their own business, handle the manufacturing, distribution, all that. What was that fork in the road like for you?
I chose manufacturing over licensing because I had the means to do, first of all, because I had the means of to do it. And I have that entrepreneurial spirit. So I wanted to go into manufacturing, and it's been quite interesting. Yeah,
Well,
it's been quite
when
interesting.
when you expected and you knew that you had the means to finance it, being a successful entrepreneur yourself before this, running your own business, what did you expect to put in? Like, did you know going into this that you did want to manufacture it, and did you allocate funds to doing it? Like, was it your life savings? Was it like many inventors out there, they think it's going to cost a gazillion dollars. Some think about asking friends and family, mortgaging their house,
Mhm.
doing Kickstarter campaigns. Like, how do you know at that point of you making the decision that you're going to manufacture that you had the money to do it, and that's definitely what you wanted to do? What was that? What was that point to make that decision?
The I knew that I had resources that I could possibly go to, and I did. I went to those resources, and I got approved for a line of credit. But I felt very confident about having that door open for me during the early part of my process. I have because I've been introducing my idea to people since early on when I did my homemade prototype. And by the time I did get to that phase of my development, they felt really good about, like, she's going to do this, because they followed me through my process, and I got the investment for it.
Great.
Yeah.
So now you found a factory, you're in production, you received a pre-production sample, you approved it. What about packaging and all the other logistics that go along with it? What's that been like?
The I have my packaging is done. My manufacturing is doing my packaging also. I've gotten we rebranded my website, and I did my website, did my packaging design and whatnot, and we sent that over to my manufacturing, and they manufacture my product and also do my packaging and my freight. Excuse me, and my freight. So when I get my product, it is like shelf ready in the packaging with my brand on it and everything that I need.
Great. So what are the plans? What are you going to do when you receive your, how many units did you order?
My first order was 3,000 units.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats. And what's going to happen next? You're going to have 3,000 units in your garage, or what's the plan?
Well, I have three sales channel. I my website, Amazon, and Walmart.
Very nice. All
Yes.
right. So you're almost there, and
Oh yeah.
we'll
Yeah. And then there's some other irons in a fire. It's a process, but there's some other irons in a fire. So that I've been building relationship with some local retailers here that I'm working on, that has several stores nationally. So it's there's some irons in the fire.
and you mentioned also that you have other products and other ideas that you're working on before the show. So tell us, as the inventors are listening, like, is it true? Like, when you come up with that one idea, there's other ones that just keep rolling in?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what else are you
It
working on?
is.
That you can
It
tell us
change your
that.
thinking. It really does. When you get engulfed in an invention, it sort of your thinking start changing, and you start looking at things differently, because I love puzzle. I'm a person, I love puzzles. So when I was doing my first invention, it's like I noticed that my thinking started changing when I was looking at things. And when I'm in a store and I see something, it's like it start just coming to you naturally. And
So
sort of being like that problem solver. You look at something and you see a problem, and you come up with that solution in your head.
so when you do come up with that idea, and you're continuing to come up with ideas. Is it still the same process? You're going through and doing the patentability search and kind of going through. Is it easier the second time as you've been working on this one?
Yes, it is. It is. It's much easier. I'm
Is
ready.
this,
I'm so ready.
is this,
Yeah.
this next idea patent pending at least so you can show us?
Yes, it is. It is
Show us.
patent pending. And actually, the utensil holder was my second patent that I applied for. My first patent was my retractable lid that fits on aluminum pans.
Do you
And
have something that you can show us? You have a prototype?
let me see. I have a picture. I have
Fine,
a poster. Would you
fine.
like to see
Let
that?
me get you on the screen.
Okay.
Show us.
Let's see. Hold on. This is the retractable lid here. It fits on aluminum pans. And when you snap it on, it does not have to be removed once you snap it on. And the users will just simply slide the clear center back and serve themselves. When they finish, the reclosing is effortless. They just take their fingers and close it,
Very nice.
slide it. Mm-hmm.
Great. So where are you with this? Where are you with this invention?
We just sent this back to the engineer to do some changes, some modifications, and that should be done, I think, in maybe another week or so.
Okay.
So once that is completed, then we're going into manufacturing with it.
That's great. So Shawn,
Yeah.
this has been a journey for you. Can you imagine where you started a few years back and where you are now? What are some real lessons learned that you could share with inventors, that maybe to do great things that you did, but also to think twice, or maybe to do things a little bit differently? Maybe you can share some of those experiences, because you're a couple years into this, and you're
2
in
years.
2 years into this. So tell us, give us some real good experience that you've had that you could share with the listeners.
Once your idea is patent pending, or you have someone tells you, you do your patentability search and you feel real good, one of the things that, and also that I validated my products at some point early on in my process. I did validate because it does, sometimes it can require a lot of funds. So I really wanted to make sure that I was onto something that the market or consumers would be interested in, would purchase. So
How did
one
you
of
do that?
the major things.
What did you do to validate that, Shawn? Sorry to cut you off. What did you do to validate that?
I went out to supermarkets. I went out to different places in my city and introduced my idea to the public and got feedback. Also, I went on social media groups that has large followings, and I presented my idea. I did a visual validation on social media. I posted my product and I say, hey, tell me what you guys think about this. And I got really great feedback, over like 1,000 feedback off of it. So it really made me feel real good that I was safe in investing funds into this and taking it to the next level.
Right.
But one of the most important things out of all of my process, my whole process, is that in the beginning, I made some errors that really cost me financially. I could have saved a lot of money if I had not did that. And one of the, if by chance anyone can have build a team is very important. And it could just be one other person, but to bring on someone who has your idea and your invention in their best interest, and that knows what they're doing, to sort of walk through your process with you. Because going it alone, that's when I made my worst mistakes, is when I was going alone.
Okay. And what were the best parts of your invention? What have you learned that you can share with inventors that really can help them keep moving forward?
That if you really believe in your invention, in your process, bring it to fruition. Bring it in, whatever the sacrifice that it makes, because I think that my product is going to benefit me in the long run. But in the beginning, there's a lot of sacrifices that has to be made, and if you feel your product is worth that, make the sacrifices that need to be made to get it to fruition.
Well, I was going to ask you for your last words of wisdom, but that was good. That was very good. Any final words, Shawn, before we go?
Happy inventing.
Shawn Taylor, thank you so much for being on the show. Your products and your enthusiasm and your energy for inventing is really it's catching.
Oh,
And
I'm on. I'm in. I'm
and
in. I'm in now.
well, thank you so much again for being on our show. Shawn Taylor, thank you so much. Got Invention Show. Keep on inventing. Have a great night.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye.